Hi, thank you so much for joining us today. I have with us Caroline Wagner in our next edition of Student Speak for Tel Aviv University's International School. Caroline, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
For sure. So let's get started by you just telling us a little bit about your time at Tel Aviv University. When were you there and what did you study?
Yeah, sure. So I arrived in Israel, I think it was October 2019, for my Master's of Environmental Studies at TAU. So I got a couple of months in Tel Aviv before COVID hit. So around March 2020, COVID hit, and then I flew back to Germany because of some circumstances. And then I managed to get back into Israel around June last year. I finished off the program and then I completed my master's at Tel Aviv University.
Amazing. Now tell me, what does it mean, environmental studies? What were you learning?
Sure. So environmental studies was all about, climate change, urban cities, urban life, water management and hydrology. Yeah, lots of different aspects about, the environment, sustainability, everything to do with, our climate.
Wow. And what do you plan to do with that? Are you working using that degree today?
Yeah, so I'm actually working at the moment. So during my master's, there is an opportunity to do an internship alongside the master's. So I did a internship with GreenPeace, Israel at the Tel Aviv office. And so I did my internship there. Then once I graduated, they asked me to do part-time for GreenPeace Israel. And now I'm actually full-time for GreenPeace Israel, working remotely from Germany.
Oh, that's so neat. Now, how did you end up back in Germany? You had mentioned in some of our pre-talks that you have lived all over the world. So tell me about where you are from, if there is an answer to that, and why you're back in Germany now.
Yeah, so that's a really tough question for me. So a lot of people ask me where I'm from. So I would say like heritage or nationality wise, my passport is German. But I was actually born in Hong Kong in China, and we moved around. So we were in Asia, in America, Europe, and then once I went to university, I did Australia, I did the Middle East, I did Asia again. So I move around quite a bit, and then I guess now I'm back in Germany, just post COVID, if we can even say post COVID, or in the midst of it, just because it's easiest at the moment, nearby family. Yeah, and this is my first time living in Germany, so I'm just trying it out, see if I actually like being German in Germany.
Amazing. Well, that's so cool. I mean, now it must have fit in very well, being in an international program, being so international. I've heard from others that there is a real eclectic group at TAU's International School. Can you talk a little bit about that? And, who were the friends that you made during this time?
Yeah, sure. So I was actually very surprised at all of the international friends I made. Um, so yeah, I made friends with, there were lots of Indian students actually, lots of Chinese students, and lots of Americans actually, who are doing Aliyah, so making their way over to Israel. Some people from the UK, and yeah, just a wide variety of international people. Yeah, but I was pleasantly surprised by the international mix.
It's great. And now, what was your free time like? Once you made those friends, did you go out? Did you have an experience that was also cultural as much as educational?
Well, before COVID,
Right.
um, so yeah, what we usually did, we would go out for dinners. So again, all about the hummus, the food. Um, at that time, the bars and the clubs were already shut, so we didn't really get to take part in that. But we did a lot of beach weekends, in the picnics in the park as well. But yeah, it was very chill actually.
Would you say that the educational program is chilled as well, or is it very rigorous and difficult?
For me, it was perfect. So I wasn't looking for something, too academic and too scientific. because there are some environmental programs that look more at the science behind it, and that's not what I was seeking. So I really appreciated the fact that the course was very balanced between, there are some tests and some, exams and coursework to be written, but it's also very practical. So again, because of COVID, we didn't get to go on the field trips. But it's very practical in terms of very topical. We talk with the lecturers, and yeah, I liked it. It wasn't too academic, but I still gained a lot of knowledge.
Awesome. So how is this going to impact you? I mean, you said you're already working in the field thanks to this, which is an awesome thing. You got a job from it. Amazing. As you move forward, with your life, do you see any of the lessons, both practically from school, but also in terms of just being a student abroad, that you can take with you or that you feel will impact your choices?
I think always being a foreigner, quote unquote foreigner, in a different place. I've always been a foreigner in all the different places. So now for me, I'm supposedly the local again here in Germany. So it's a nice mix up that's happening at the moment. But I do think, every study period abroad, every opportunity someone gets to, live abroad, study abroad, I think it um, makes you more independent because you have no one to rely on. You have to make friends. You have to figure out, the bank account, the postal system, the public transport, and you pick up the language as well. So I do think, studying abroad or being a foreigner in a different place and getting out of your comfort zone, I think that brings so much value to your life.
Wonderful. And what would you say to somebody else who's debating whether or not they want to come to Tel Aviv University? Do you have something to tell them?
I would say just go. Of course, many people think, twice about going to Israel because lots of different reasons. Um, but I would say if you're already thinking about it, just go. Have no regrets. The hummus is very worthwhile.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Karen. It was great to get to meet you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me again.